very much for this introduction. Bear with me a couple of minutes. Shan't be too long. You all want to drink, I understand. You're all standing. You're all in a festive mood because, wow, what a great launch. And this is yet another step in this long, long struggle to achieve equality. Because that's what we're asking for. We're not asking for favors. We're not asking for privilege. We're asking for equality. And this is the biggest challenge we have is to show privilege for what it is. Because I truly believe that most men, if they recognize privilege for what it is, they will not want it. Or at least they'll feel uncomfortable with it. Certainly because most men, at least they have mothers. Most of them, like myself, have wives. I have, well, one, huh? Before we get any misunderstanding. I have 2 daughters. But one of the lessons I learned now with my youngest 2 children, bringing them up, is that feminism is a matter for men and women. Just like any other societal change, just like any other way in limiting privilege or creating equality, it takes the fight of those who are in a bad position. But it takes an alliance with those who feel uncomfortable with their privilege. And if one thing I would like us to do in the next couple of years is to show that we are able to create alliances between men and women, more men not feeling uncomfortable to say that they are feminists, watching our own patterns, how they have developed. When I try, and my wife, we try together, to bring up our kids in the same way so that they don't, fall into the same cultural patterns, which is the most logical thing to do, it is through the eyes of my kids that I challenge my own behavior, because much of our behavior, which is based on privilege, is unconscious. It's something you do because that's how you were brought up. And I think the binder is one of those elements that can help us unveil privilege. In the European institutions, we still have a long way to go. All of you know that. In Europe, we still have a long way to go. My mother lost her job when she got married. That was what we did at the time in the late 1950s. She didn't even challenge it. She mourned the loss of a job for so long. But she accepted it. Those were the norms. Women get body shamed all the time. I never get body shamed, whereas many reasons people could. They don't. But it doesn't happen. Well, except for, what the hell's that beard? That's the only thing I get. But women get it all the time. There was an article in the Dutch media today that said that even on scientific writing, when people report on scientific writing, they report in a biased way about women. So the scientific reports written by women get less credit or less authority than written by men because of bias. I didn't believe it, but when I read it, I saw it. And because it's been written, because it's been published, we can now fix it. Another lesson I've learned: if you challenge the powers that be, if you challenge the situation as it is, if you do not accept injustice, if you do not accept somebody treating privilege as the normality or as something that is due to them, if you challenge preconceptions, you will get a reaction. It is not for free. It is not for free. I can testify to that. But the reward is so huge afterwards when you see that you actually change something. When you see that through the binder or other initiatives, slowly we bring our society in the direction of more equality. Then you forget that you were pushed back, that you were ridiculed, that you were shamed. You'll forget it when looking back. Please bear with me 2 more minutes. I want to tell you that the reason why I want to double up our efforts now is because I see, for the first time in a long, long time, no longer a natural development, ever so slowly, sometimes a bit faster, towards more equality. I see fight back. I see pushback. I see men and political movements saying, wait a minute, that's not privilege, that's how it should be. That's how it's written in the Bible or in another holy book, or that's how society was best. This whole lack of optimism about the future, standing with our backs to the future, looking at a past that never was, and trying to recreate the past as sort of a safe haven where there is protection. Whilst recreating the past, you hear it often, I'm not the only one, it's about time that women knew their place again. Time that we went back to that situation. Hell, I cannot imagine my daughters at some point being in the same place as where their grandmothers were 40 or 50 years ago. So this is a call to arms, my friends. We need to push back. And let me tell you very clearly, if there is pushback against equality for men and women, behind all of that, there is pushback against equal rights for minorities, equal rights for gays, equal rights for all those who do not have privilege in our society. The mission of Europe is to make sure that every single European has equal rights, equal position, equal opportunity in our society. We shall not let that mission be killed by people who portray a future based on a past that never was, with some strange ideas about where religion should take us, or ideologies should take us, or ideas about organization in society should take us. That's why the fight for equality of women, the fight to challenge this idea that power should rule, because make no mistake, sexual violence is not about sex or lust, it's about power. It's about mostly men saying, I'm stronger than you, so I can do with you whatever I like. We shall never accept that. We will fight against that, and we will create a world where no one would see the physical strength they have as an excuse to dominate another human being. Thank you so much.